Careers. This is a seriously important topic. I recently came across several videos about finding the right career path, and they all focused on one main thing: sustainability. While sustainability is valuable, I can't help but feel that they missed some of the most important things everyone should focus on when it comes to their career. I mean, it's only the most important decision of your life. No big deal. So in this Sign of Life video, I'm going to share the 5 steps for choosing the right career. But first, intro. Okay, so I gotta get something off my chest first. I resent the word career. I just don't like what it represents. There, I said it. It's an unpopular opinion, I know. But try to hear me out. Career. An occupation undertaken for a significant period of a person's life and with opportunities for progress. There's this acceptance that everyone needs to have a career. So what's so wrong about it? To begin with, young adults feel extremely pressured because society expects them to choose a career path as early as possible. The longer they wait, the more likely they are to compromise just to get it over with. The financial struggle that comes with being independent and the unavoidable comparison to others.
I heard Jacqueline's son is going to be a doctor.
Those are 2 other key factors that forces young adults to make a rush decision. This burden is felt by teenagers too. I bet all the teenagers watching now are like, he's right. Parents and teachers both tell them that without good grades, they'll never get into a good college and they'll have limited options for their career.
Jacqueline's son got very good grades.
The funny thing is, we enjoy waving the it's 2019 flag every time an old school behavior that should leave this world appears. Yet at the same time, we ignore our own old school way of life. Seriously, how does it still make sense to pick and stick to one occupation throughout your entire life? Is it just because we're looking for self-determination? Saying I'm a doctor or I'm a writer does feel nice because it gives a sense of purpose to your life. But it's also very limiting. Are you just a writer? Are you just a doctor? 200 years ago, people used to follow their father's profession. It served a very clear purpose: survival. Then universities were established and those who could afford them were finally able to acquire a different occupation than their parents. And now I feel like it's time to wave that it's 2019 flag again. We no longer need to commit to one occupation for the rest of our lives. But it's hard to think otherwise, especially if you already chose your career path, and that means you're already invested. In her book, What I Wish I Knew When I Was 20, Tina Siddig says that we tend to convince ourselves that all the years we devoted to something must be worthwhile, even if we feel miserable at work. Many people feel unfulfilled in their current occupation. Maybe you're one of those people, counting the minutes till the end of the workday. Sounds familiar? But because you're already invested, you don't dare to ask yourself, should I change my occupation? Instead, we'd like to believe that there's something wrong with our workplace. The pay isn't good enough, or maybe it's the terrible boss and the boring colleagues. There are 2 reasons why we're not open to the idea of changing our occupation. Firstly, it means to start all over again. And secondly, it's that shame. The truth is, there's nothing wrong with having one occupation throughout your entire life. That's if you're staying passionate about it, of course. But there's nothing wrong about having multiple occupations too. We're all individuals and there isn't one concept that simply works for everyone. So, without further ado, here are the 5 steps you need to follow in order to choose your best career path. Number 1, don't limit yourself. Avoid the annoying question, what do you do? Which implies that anyone can just sum up their entire life into one title. In fact, stop doing anything that can limit your self-belief. You are allowed to change, and you owe explanations only to yourself. Number 2, define your passions. Work takes the majority of our time, so we better be thrilled about what we do. A good paycheck might seem exciting, but that excitement fades away within weeks. You need to be excited every day when you wake up. This can only happen once you know what your passions are. And it's much simpler than it sounds. Deep down, you know what drives you. And in case you don't or you're not sure, here's a good rule of thumb. Think of the things that you do or used to do that are interesting and fun, so much that you could skip a meal by accident or stay up all night. Number 3, what is your dream workday? Allow yourself to imagine, what would you like to get up to? What would you like to do every day? Do not focus on why your ideal day isn't realistic or why it's impossible to earn any money from it. That's just your granny talking in your head.
Have I told you about Jacqueline's son?
While she has good intentions, she and Jacqueline's son are not you. Write down your fantasy, how your ideal workday will look like. Get specific in terms of the actual work you're going to do, your desired flexibility, the people you're going to work with, and the goals you're going to achieve. Step number 4, get going. There's no need to compromise. You don't need to become a butcher just because your father is. If you know what your ideal workday is, then you have a clear vision of what you actually want to pursue. Now, if you're not sure whether this type of work is actually real, then try to consult with people who work in that field. You know what? There's a good chance that your ideal concept of occupation actually exists. Wait, but what if it doesn't? Well then, you'll be the first one to do it. Take Veritasium, for example, a guy who is passionate about both video making and science. Two different things. Today with YouTube it might sound trivial, but for a long time, back when he started, he couldn't find a way to pursue his passions. But he didn't give up. Eventually, he found a way to combine both his loves, and he started a YouTube channel, which we now know as Veritasium. This is the true essence of entrepreneurship. Defining your ideal occupation and making it happen. Step number 5. It's never too late to change. Whether you worked as a PA in a law firm for the past 5 years or recently decided to enroll to medicine studies, it's never too late to change. Understanding this step is as crucial as all the previous ones. Any expert investor knows that you don't want to hold on to a bad investment. At some point, you have to accept your loss. Life is very much the same. Changes and new investments are required for continued growth. Before I finish this video, I'd like to stress out the importance of being occupied with something you're truly passionate about. Obviously, this is the best way to live a fulfilled life, but there's more to it. It's quite simple. If you're not passionate about what you do, then you're not going to be motivated to do it either. Unmotivated people can never excel. We need a world full of entrepreneurs, doctors, engineers, web developers, teachers, politicians, musicians, writers, who are all pioneers. We need people who do groundbreaking work, who advance the world forward with new ideas, concepts, and inventions. So let's not forget one thing before we choose our path. It's 2019. Thanks so much for watching this Sign of Life video. If you think this video will help anyone that you know, someone that is looking for the right career path or wants to change their occupation, please share it with them. Just before you go, I'd like you to comment below and tell me what your ideal occupation is. Also, click all the right buttons if you want to see more videos like this one. And don't forget, it's never too late to fulfill yourself.